Good evening, everybody. This is Mike Tedesco of Wrestleview.com.
And this is Victoria Tedesco. We're kind of going to do things a little bit different tonight. I'm going to attempt to take the meat and potatoes of the show and lead the way.
The meat and potatoes.
But I will... I'm going to do my best. I don't know how well this is going to work out. Mike's not feeling that great tonight, but we have a lot to talk about with Raw and everything. It's the go-home show for the Royal Rumble this week, this Sunday night. So there's a lot to discuss, but...
It's happening.
Yeah, it's happening. So, well, let's just start up by saying this. I think that we should welcome everybody, welcome everybody in the live chat.
Yes.
And that I think you should do because that I can't see. So.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to them as they start to pile in here. We have Quentin, of course, always here. But yeah. It's finally happened. This is our 23rd post-Raw show, and I always brag about never getting sick. And, well, it is absolutely frigid here in New Jersey. We hit the polar vortex.
Yes.
For sure.
Absolutely.
This morning, when we had to go into school today, it was 1 degree. It is now a balmy 10 degrees outside, and it's absolutely freezing in our apartment. This place does not heat really well.
No, not at all.
We have central air and all that stuff, but central air is like really centralized for our living room and not for our bedroom. Our space heater's thermometer says that our room temperature currently is 58 degrees. So
52 before.
It was 52 before, so it's greatly improved. Hey, Lewis, what's going on, man? So we're freezing, and I have a cold on top of all this. I'm dying. It's brutal. This is not enjoyable.
No, not typical for you.
No, certainly
you made
not.
it through your presentation today, but
I did.
Your body just had enough in you to make it through your presentation. You did well with that.
Mm-hmm. And then it was Crash City right after that. So I'm dead.
All right.
So
well.
Oh, actually, Quentin has a good little comment in the chat room. I watched Glass. So did we.
Yeah, we did go.
We did go. We did go to see Glass after all that last week. All that advertisement. We were like, okay, let's just go see what this thing's about.
It wasn't bad. It's pretty good.
I liked it. If you liked Unbreakable and you liked Split, chances are you're going to like this. I know a lot of people that loved it, and I've heard of some people that did not like it. I have to say, I'm definitely one of the people that enjoyed it.
It was a hit or miss type of movie. You either really liked it or you didn't like it at all.
Oh my god, remember as I was trying to think of how do you say the director's name last week?
Oh, okay.
And remember they showed the credits, and then I just whispered to you in the movie theater, I go, oh, it's Shyamalan.
I still
that was
don't
my
know.
only thought during
but
the entire
is it
thing.
really that though, or is that confirmed?
Phonetically it looks like Shyamalan to me.
Okay. But I until he says it, I'm not going to believe anything you say, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I know. I have to actually hear him say it. I don't think he's ever actually said his name before.
And this is no spoiler, because this is every movie that he directs. He's in the movie.
Oh, yeah. He's always in the movie at a pivotal part, though. So he's always the one that's there right before the big reveal happens. So just know when you see him, something's going to happen.
Something's going to happen.
So we got Nathan in the chat room. Hello, Nathan. Billy's in the chat room. And Lewis thinks that Victoria went in protest, didn't you?
Well, no, actually, on Friday I was kind of half asleep when you offered to go. If you remember.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And you're like, do you want to go? I'm like, I got to take a nap. And then when I woke up, I'm like, all right, you know what? We have that new movie theater, the good recliner seats. I'm like, let's just go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was good. So, you know what? All that advertising on Raw pulled me in to go see Glass, and I was going to go see it anyway, but it did get me kind of excited to see Glass.
Well, kind of knocked you over the head that you had to go see it.
Yeah. Yeah, you think?
Well,
so
that's that.
Well, it's the go-home show
weekend.
to the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
And we have a weekend coming up. A whole wrestling weekend. We have NXT TakeOver on Saturday, NXT TakeOver Phoenix on Saturday, which looks to be a very good card. I am looking forward to recapping that.
You will be?
I am looking forward to also recapping the Royal Rumble. A dream come true for me. I don't know why. I just love recapping so much, and I always put little notches on my recapping wish list. And one of them was always to recap the Royal Rumble, and Adam graciously is letting me do that this year. I am very excited to be doing that. I did get to recap the greatest Royal Rumble, but I don't think that really counts for like a Royal Rumble. So this is the actual official Royal Rumble. No journalists will be dissolved in Phoenix, Arizona. That much I am sure of. So I'm psyched. I gotta say, I don't know if I'll recap Raw, but we will be doing a post show. We will definitely be doing a post show. I don't know if I can do 3 shows in a row. That would be like what? This is supposed to be like a 4-hour Rumble or something like that. 4 or 5 hours.
What time's the new start? What's the new start time again?
7
like
o'clock.
New start time is always 7 o'clock now.
Yeah, but it's like a 2-hour pre-show, which I'm not doing that obviously. But I think it's like 4.5 hours plus a 3-hour takeover, and then another 3-hour Raw. That'd be like well over 10 hours of wrestling in a row. So I don't know if I could do that.
That's a lot of wrestling.
But we'll be doing a post show next week, so don't worry about that. All right, let's see. What did I call it? Did I call it the greatest Royal Rumble, or what did I call it? Oh no, you're right. No, I didn't call it the greatest Royal Rumble. Lewis just corrected me. He said, "How dare you, Mike? It was the greatest Royal Rumble."
Oh gosh.
Oh, just like, well, did you know that they're not calling like Crown Jewel anymore? It's just called like the World Cup now, because Crown Jewel just is like such a trash name
because of the whole.
Yeah, because of the whole
entire
everything leading up to it. It's just bad. I already said hi to Nathan. We have Kit in chat room too. Eric Flanagan. Hello, everybody. If you're in here and you haven't greeted yourself or introduced yourself yet, we encourage you to get involved in the live chat. If you're listening to us on tape delay, if you're listening to us on Spotify, we encourage you.
Fun.
Please join us live one day and check us out. We appreciate all the downloads we get on Spotify and iTunes, and hey, everybody that checks out on YouTube. It's sometimes a little hard to find us sometimes, but people do, and we get, I'm very happy with that. So I'm glad we have some sort of following out there. It's good to see.
Definitely.
All right, Victoria, take away the Raw recap.
So
let's get into the go home show.
Let me try.
For Royal Rumble.
I'm going to do my best, okay? Please don't judge me. So the show opens up with a powerful video honoring the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who we celebrate today in the United States. And, happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day to all. I think it's very important that we do keep in mind that not only should we be honoring these individuals on the day that we commemorate them and celebrate, but also throughout the year as well. It's important to kind of keep in mind these practices and these individuals, not just today, but throughout the entire year. And I thought WWE did a very nice job. Yeah. They always do a very good job just in general of having those powerful video packages and
you could definitely tell that like Vince McMahon is definitely a child from the 60s, like the early 60s. Mm-hmm. Like, he was born 1945. So he was about 10 years old when the Montgomery bus boycotts happened, and 15 years old during when he got arrested in Birmingham, and the I Have a Dream speech. This was all his formative years, and you could tell that there is a great admiration from Vince McMahon towards Martin Luther King. They always go out of their way every year to do something special for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and I thought that it was actually nice that some of the superstars, Rollins and Ambrose, also worked in Dr. King quotes as well into their promos. Tacky a little bit for the in the way they used them, but still.
But still, the effort was made to use them.
Yeah. So especially like in today's day and age, to kind of like look back at like what Martin Luther King Jr. stood for, not a bad reminder of where we've been. So
no, and not to bring politics into the situation and into the podcast. However, but the only thing I will say is, though, I had a workshop the other day for social studies and history, and the nice thing about it was my supervisor said, it's important that all year long you're doing this with your kids. It's not just today and for the rest of the week. We should be celebrating and honoring those people and people like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. throughout the entire year. And
amen, sister.
So on that. All right. Well, to get started with the opening segment, Brock Lesnar music hits, and we have our WWE Universal Champion making his way to the ring alongside the one and only Paul Heyman. As we all know that we have both sides of the spectrum here with Lesnar reactions. There's the Suplex City chants and there's the booing chants.
Oh, yeah.
One outweighed the other, however.
Sorry.
Oh, what was that?
I don't know. The video just started playing. Cool.
Okay. Well,
Sorry.
there you go. We're live, pal.
We're live, pal. Wow, I just totally botched this thing. Big time.
Heyman introduces himself as the advocate for the reigning, defending, undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion, Brock Lesnar. And he discusses last week's Monday Night Raw with Finn Balor and John Cena. And Finn Balor doing a very, 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 very anomaly type thing with pinning John Cena, and he's got something to say for that. And there was no controversy, there's no fluke involved. He pinned him fair and square, and he's talking about how Finn Balor is this worthy opponent and how Finn Balor definitely did something that most people can't say they have done in the WWE. However,
which is pin John Cena.
However, you know, now he has this great opportunity to go against Brock Lesnar, the Universal Championship, unlike any other person. Also, very rare occurrence for people to be able to have those opportunities. However, he still has all his faith in Brock Lesnar, regardless of how well Finn Balor has done and is continuing to do. He is still the undisputed champion, and it's going to take a lot for him to be able to go against him this Sunday.
Yeah. So this was a really, really good promo from Paul Heyman. I've been kind of waiting for Paul Heyman to cut a good promo. It's been a few weeks since I've seen one.
It has
been. The one on Moment of Bliss last week was just... That was just an awful, awful segment. Not even Paul Heyman could save that. And where Paul Heyman was going with his interview was bad. I didn't like Paul Heyman doing the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer thing with Braun Strowman on Christmas Eve. There's been a couple of Heyman clunkers lately, but no one is better on the hard sell for pay-per-view when you really need him to sell a pay-per-view at the end of the day. Paul Heyman's your guy. There's like very few guys in the business that could really, truly sell a match. One of them, John Cena, one of the best ever, I think, at making a meaningless match. It could be any match. It could be John Cena defending the WWE Championship against the Great Khali, or John Cena defending the WWE Championship against The Rock. Either way, you're getting the same go-home promo, and it's always good. It's always a slam dunk. The top guys can always do that. Paul Heyman, one of them. Stone Cold Steve Austin, great at the go-home show promo. The Rock, all the greats. Hogan, could really cut a great promo. This was a really, really good thing. It got me really pumped up for, a match that was only booked a week out. So it's, there's really not a lot of time to build this thing. And they did a really nice job of that.
Paul Heyman was back in full force tonight.
For sure. And they didn't need the Vince McMahon glommed on thing to put it over more.
No.
But, it didn't hurt either. I could see what they're doing, though. So they have Vince come out, and you can continue on from there.
No, yeah. Vince comes out and makes his way to the ring. And what I really liked about this is that the way that they're utilizing Vince as this individual who is timeless. He's somebody who's always going to come out no matter what, and he's always going to get some sort of reaction, and his claim to fame, he slightly throws in there about, insulting the crowd, calling them hillbillies because they don't know the story of David and Goliath and David versus Goliath and everything like that. And making his way into the ring and siding with Brock Lesnar, but then talking about Finn Balor. He doesn't have many fans. I like the fact that I know you said it's not necessary that he comes out necessarily, but in this case, yeah, I think it does, because for him to come out means that he actually wants to be out there and wants to actually promote this individual, like Finn Balor.
Well, yeah. But they also know that, part of me feels like this is a match that they know it'll be a good match with Brock, but I'm sure they think that not a lot of people are going to believe that Finn Balor can actually beat him. So it's well, let's tell them that they're right. Let's tell them that we also don't believe that he can beat him. So it adds some drama to the thing. I get what I really do. I understand what they're doing. I thought Paul Heyman accomplished it perfectly. It didn't need any more than that. But again, it's Raw and it's 10 hours long, so they have to fill up time.
See, I think in this particular case, because it was only a week build to this, a couple weeks into this build, Vince McMahon was also needed in this.
Right, you're right. In a sense, it's almost like taking 4 weeks of build and doing it in 2.
Right.
It's like the Vince McMahon thing might come next week, and he might say, or it might have come last week, and he says, I don't believe that he could beat him, and blah, blah, blah.
We kind of have to pull all the stops here,
Right. And then Braun Strowman comes out.
And then he comes out. Now, I was talking to Billy Hefner about this before. The only thing, this is where I have a problem, and I don't think, as much as I love Braun Strowman, I don't think he needed to come out for this. And I know we have to have him in there because he talks about how he lost to Baron Corbin and how he's kind of got screwed over and whatnot. But the only thing is, though, he really, really struggles on the mic still. I still found that he was fumbling.
Yeah, his face. He's really, really taking a step back. When they did,
I take back what I said about how that when he lost when he turned heel. And I was like, oh, no, he'll be fine. He'll get back into the swing of things of being this ultimate. No, you were right. And I found myself eating my words. I hate myself for even agreeing with you.
Jeez.
But it's true. And I think tonight was just a perfect indication of that. Oh, stop it. But I think tonight was a perfect indication of the fact that he just fumbles. And I really, you know what? Out of everything that happened in this opening segment, I could have done without Braun Strowman.
The worst thing that happened to Braun Strowman was the fact that they didn't capitalize on him last year when he was red hot.
Right.
And there was no character growth. He's just
now
kind
we're
of
paying for it.
It's just like he's been kind of like in that like standstill limbo. I think it's just bad for Braun Strowman to be out there simply because number one, they used him to prove that Finn Balor can beat a monster tonight in the match that they had.
Right.
So that doesn't make Braun Strowman look all that great.
Right.
All of a sudden.
Mighty powerful.
And then also, he's a giant man. Okay, he's a giant man who doesn't care. Obviously, he tips over limousines. He rips doors off. He's tipped over ambulances. He's done all these like kooky, wild things. And then he just takes it. He's like, okay, well, you're fined $100,000. Okay. And you're out of the Royal Rumble match now. Okay, tip over the limo, but then he goes out there and he's just totally tame. Like if this was the old days, I'm sure Vince would be taking a running power slam right now. But Vince is 73 or 7. He's gonna be 74 this year. Where is he already 74? I think he might be.
I don't know.
No, he's 73. Yeah, he'll be 73. He is 73 right now. So he's not, obviously Vince is not going to be getting into much in the way of action anymore. The worst he did was that headbutt, a year and a half ago with Kevin Owens. That was nasty. But Vince doesn't really do much in the way of bumping anymore. So it just, to me, it's like Braun Strowman is this giant monster giant monster face, excuse me. And he just takes it. And then he comes out there and he's just like, okay, well, and then Vince is like, well, you're lucky to have a job, and Braun says nothing. It just makes him look weak. It makes him look bad.
I am so tired of that back and forth of
Thanks,
you
Randy,
speak
73.
Yeah. You speak, I speak. Where's that monster? Where's that monster? And
it almost looked like Brock got bored during this because they had Finn Balor come out, and then Vince is like, you remind me of the story of David and Goliath. And if nobody knows the David and Goliath, which was a great little thing where he goes, if you don't know what David and Goliath is, and he asked Paul Heyman if he asked Paul Heyman if he knows it, and Paul Heyman goes, I don't read the Bible. Yeah. So it was really funny. There's a couple of funny like little things caught by the camera tonight, which we'll talk about. But he tells the story of David and Goliath as Goliath just kills David, and then he gets resurrected as Finn Balor. And Finn corrects Vince. And then this is where the thing got really weird, is that it went on too long. And like last week when Vince kind of forgot his lines and screwed up a segment with Jinder Mahal where he said that if Jinder Mahal beats Finn Balor, he's going to the Royal Rumble, which is, no, he was going to the Fatal 4-Way, but Vince botched the lines. It's like Vince forgot like a whole entire segment of the promo here because he was ready to announce the match before Finn even got his comeback about the David and Goliath thing. So,
yeah.
It's sad when people get old.
Heyman, though, was great, too, throughout this whole part when Finn Balor was talking, and then he kept correcting him, saying, no, well, Cena's the second greatest behind Brock Lesnar. Yeah. Just like that little touch of, like, oh, no, let's not be mistaken here. Brock Lesnar is the best, okay? Not you okay, you the second greatest of all time, but you still haven't beat the greatest of all time. So wait until Sunday until we do that. But yeah, I agree. It did get a little long towards the latter part of it, but overall, I can't hate it. I really think that it was great. And the only, like I said, the only criticism I really have is Braun Strowman throughout it. I think it was completely unnecessary. If they were going to utilize him a different way, where he's just going to come out and beat everybody up, fantastic. But they didn't do that.
Yeah. And hey, you know what? But the match he had with Finn Balor afterwards, I liked it. And this was a trend tonight. For like the first 4 of the 5 matches on Raw tonight, they all started during the commercial break. Now, when we go to live events, especially television tapings, during the commercials, they turn off all the lights. Doesn't matter how hot the segment was beforehand, and if it's going to lead to a match, they turn off all the lights and then they make you watch a video. Nothing worse than that to kill a crowd. So I think they were experimenting with something tonight where it's like, okay, let's not kill the crowd. I get it. The live audience won't watch the first 10 lockups that they do and chin locks. So we'll start the match during the commercial break, and then we'll come in on it, and then we'll get to the hot stuff immediately. It's good for the television audience, so you don't have to sit and watch all the preliminary stuff, even though I like that kind of stuff. And it's good for the live crowd, so they don't have to sit through, darkness and video packages. I thought that it kept the crowd alive a lot more tonight.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they suffered from dead crowds these last few weeks.
This was the first night in a very, very long time where you got throughout a consistent reaction from the crowd.
Yeah.
On even the boring stuff. So that was
during the third hour kind of died. Like halfway through the show was like,
well, no, but you still got a reaction out of people, which was nice to see. But I agree. I think the Finn Balor match and Braun Strowman, not bad overall.
No, it was short and sweet. That's what I liked about it. They established that Finn Balor could potentially do it. They didn't have him outright pin Strowman, but they did have him hit him with the coup de grace, so it's like, well, there's no other option here. He's probably just going to pin him. They also had him take out Brock Lesnar, who was at ringside. Now, there was a really, really cool segment, in a spot with Brock Lesnar and Finn Balor, where Finn Balor was on the top rope. Strowman throws him to the outside. I'm going to show the gif of it real quick.
Yeah, that was good.
It was really neat.
Really, really good.
Let's see if I can pull it up. Yeah, here it is.
You have it up.
He throws him off the top rope into the arms of Brock Lesnar, which is great. Lesnar catches him and then just kills him with a belly-to-belly suplex on the floor. Totally awesome. But Balor still overcomes all of that, and he winds up coming back, beats up Lesnar a little bit, avoids Strowman, hits Lesnar with a somersault senton. Lesnar didn't really do a good job of catching him now that I watched this gif again. But Finn Balor definitely gave him a scissor kick to the back of the neck, so on the way down. So even though he took a stiff bump on the floor, man, I've watched that, and Finn Balor, what is he, like 38 years old or something like that? Taking those kind of bumps, that's tough. Actually, he's not 38, but he's not...
Real? I thought he was... Wait, he's that much older? Not that 38's old, but
I think he's like 30... Yeah, he's in his like mid-30s, mid to late 30s.
Really?
Oh, he's 37. He's going to be 38 this year.
Okay, so he's my brother's age.
And I see a guy like that taking those kind of bumps, and you know how that bump card has been ticked on all these years. He's been doing the same stuff all these years. I see him take a stiff bump on the floor like that because Lesnar didn't catch him, and it worries me. But this was a good match. This established Finn Balor as a potential giant killer and gives you some hope for Sunday. And the way they put it over, it's almost like, God, Balor's got to go over.
You are really rooting for him.
Yeah. Like a 1 week build, but this was a really successful build.
Like light years of where he was a month ago. It was like, Finn Balor who?
He's light years away from where he was like 2 weeks ago. Like, seriously. It's like he appeared on the NXT UK TakeOver show. Vince watched it, was like, well, goddamn, I guess the guy really can go. If we don't have him come out and smiling and sitting in kid playhouses, I guess we can do something with him.
I love when Vince is late to the party.
Oh, well, here we go.
Don't you love when Vince is late to the party?
Oh, he's always late to the party.
I just love it.
But, it's like, you watch him do these promos on TV, and like I was saying before, it's like he forgot a couple things happened. That is who's in control of the company right now.
Yeah.
A guy who, I get it.
He is older.
TV, it's pressure, I get it. But, hey, he has a ton of responsibilities. On top of now starting up a football league that's going to be taking off this time next year after the Super Bowl. He's got a lot on his plate.
Well, here's the thing.
He's got a lot on his plate.
He is he's obviously the person, as everybody knows, who can't take a step back and not be extremely involved. So he has to put his 2 cents in whenever he can. And yeah, he may forget a few things, obviously. But at the same time, though, I give him a lot of credit for having that type of work ethic at his age and not wanting to give up. I mean, there's times where I'm obviously like, just please let Triple H and Stephanie take care of it from now on. Like, settle down. But, no, you know.
Yeah. Well,
it's nice that he's got the drive and he still has. What was that conversation we were having tonight about your genius? You're like, is he a genius or did he get lucky?
Yeah.
Let's open up that question to the chat.
Yeah, I sometimes do question if Vince really just was a guy that got lucky that, you know, that WCW didn't get bought by Fusion Media, and that Time Warner canceled Nitro on TNT and stuff like that. I often wonder, like, with the right owners and the right competition, if WCW did things the right way, and you know, Vince just had the right roster at the time, but you know, WCW didn't have a bad roster either. You know, I just wonder if he just got extremely lucky. If he just got extremely lucky, made the right moves, did the right backstabbing, underhanded things. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. But hey, you know what? Good stuff.
I'll see your opinions in the chat room while we move along here.
Yes. So moving along, let's go to the next big thing here, which would be the Seth Rollins promo. Would you like to take this? I don't know if you want to take this, or should I?
I thought we were going in order.
No, I thought we hit the big stuff first, and then then go to the little stuff like we've been doing lately.
No, yeah, I love this. I think Seth Rollins. It was nice that, like you said, that he was talking about the year that he had and how he brought Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once again and quoting that and everything else. But he said that how he lost a lot this year. You know, he really had to go through some adversity this year, the past few months, that he lost. He lost his 2 titles. He thought he was the top of the world. He had his family by his side, but now he has this broken family. He doesn't have titles anymore. So his first and last love will always be wrestling.
So he still has that.
And he'll always have that on his side. But what was nice about this with Seth Rollins is the fact that he was able to incorporate the struggles that he had without actually saying it. He was alluding to the fact that he lost Roman Reigns, you know, to that he's dealing with the cancer. And that with everything with Dean Ambrose, how they were combating this, you know, for the past few months and everything else. But he didn't have to flat out say, like, oh, I lost Roman Reigns. Oh, Dean Ambrose. He said, I have a broken family. I don't have my titles anymore, but I have wrestling on my side, which is really good to see, only because I think when you just kind of keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again, it's like, all right, we get it. You have all these things that you have going on, but no matter what, you have wrestling and you're good to go and that sort of thing. But I liked it. I did. I think the promo was really, really good. And it, you know, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I like Seth Rollins really did a really good raw babyface promo here. And the little interaction that Drew McIntyre also had with him was really good. Because they kind of went back and forth, you know, that dichotomous nature of face and heel in wrestling, which I always like. You know, these two by far are my 2 favorites to win the Royal Rumble. I actually think I still think it's gonna be Seth Rollins, even though he did pin Drew McIntyre. But this promo segment was really good. You know, simple, paint by numbers, didn't need to be much, but they established that both are very serious contenders for the Royal Rumble. And the match they had was just like a knockdown, barn burner, really damn good thing. They did a lot in this one. You know, McIntyre called attention to, which Rollins does get christened for every now and then, is that he's too high risk, and that, you know, he's you know, it's like he does the same. He's like kind of does the same thing over and over again a little bit. So Rollins changed it up a little bit. He did a couple things. He won with a roll-up tonight, but they had a really, really great match, I have to say. McIntyre gave him the inverted Alabama slam on the floor, which is just a really nasty move. As you can see here on the GIF. Boom. And Rollins took it on his shoulder, and that's nasty, man. You know, it's like we are down a lot of superstars here. I'm just going to watch that one more time. We're down a lot of superstars here. Yeah, that's nasty. We can't have Rollins blowing out his shoulder at ringside. You know, that would be catastrophic. But that that was definitely good. There was a really great spot with a super kick where McIntyre just kind of ran into it. He was setting up for Claymore, and then Rollins just murdered him with a super kick. That was great. And then finally, Seth Rollins rolls him up. They had this back and forth, really, really good match. A lot of fun. Got a actual, real, true "This is awesome" chant from the crowd. Finally, it's been a while since we've seen one of those.
A legitimate "This is awesome"
A legitimate
chant.
one, because for the last few weeks,
we just throw them around like it's candy.
Yeah, well, for the last few weeks, there's been some crowds where they've been dead, and then like every now and then they try to start up like a half-hearted "This is awesome" chant. This one actually deserved it. This one got it, and the crowd was definitely into it. And this was the third of four I think this is the third match we're joining in progress tonight. This is the third out of 3. So the crowd hasn't had to really sit through any long commercial breaks, which was kind of nice for them. So I really do wonder if that's what helped them stay in this match tonight. But it could
very well be, but those two, I think even if the crowd wasn't into it, they could still get you into by the end of the time.
Oh yeah,
because they are the top guys right now as far as technical wrestling and just even as far as their promos too.
Yeah, it's like you need a good match, send out Rollins and McIntyre.
You
they'll
look
have a
at
really
them
good one.
and they just scream superstar. They are the epitome of everything that a superstar should be.
Yeah. I wonder though, like, because McIntyre said in the promo, he goes, I hope it comes down to me and you in the Rumble because I want to throw you over the top rope so you can listen to the ring announcer say that I'm the one who won the 2019 Royal Rumble and I'm going to WrestleMania. So I wonder if it will wind up being with the two of them there at the end.
And that's something that even though he's making that prediction that it most likely, obviously, they will be within the top 5 of that, and either one of them I can 100% say are going to win, to be honest with you, as far as like just my opinion. But I'm okay with that type of prediction. I'm okay with knowing that like it's going to be either one of them.
Yeah.
And then I'm excited for it.
We got Kit Dyson in the chat room thinks that Drew is going to win the Rumble. We also have Grash Uriza in the chat room. He just got home from the frozen lands of New England, so even worse. Go Pats!
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Hey, go you, man. But that's yeah. It could if Rollins or McIntyre win, I'm not going to complain.
I think you can't go wrong with either one of them, obviously.
No, certainly not.
But even if it's so predictable, that is something I don't care if it's predictable or not.
Right.
I don't need any like other front runner being like, oh, well, that was for the sake of a shock value. I think these two are fantastic contenders to win and can actually make something with winning it and being legitimate to going to WrestleMania and having that opportunity.
Right. Well, yeah, so that was a good segment. That was about a half hour of stuff on Raw, which was really good. After that, it took a real nosedive when they started with Jinder Mahal and the Singh brother versus the Lucha House Party, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Let's get to the actual truly big news of the night that if you're listening to the commentary, they did not call attention to whatsoever. But Ronda Rousey, for the first time in her WWE career, is on the losing side of a match. She's never lost a singles match or a tag team match. She's still undefeated in singles, but she can no longer say that she's undefeated in tag team competition.
Now, do you think they didn't mention it because they were like, oh, shit?
I don't know.
Do you know? You know what I mean?
Number one, the submission happened at 10:59 and like 30 seconds. So I wonder if they just didn't have enough time to do that because they barely had enough time to do the pull-apart brawl at the end.
Right.
But also, I guess if it's not Ronda taking the pin and they want to keep the aura of her as undefeated, I guess, they have to, they're not going to say anything. But to me, it's a missed opportunity. It's like, okay, I get it. Ronda didn't take the pinfall, but Sasha Banks still used her submission and on Natalya and defeated her, which in turn defeated Ronda Rousey as well. So
right, because you're part of that team.
Sasha has now affected Ronda Rousey's win-loss record in WWE. That's something that that Banks should be going around now and touting, like, well, I gave you your first loss in tag team. Now I'm going to give you your first loss in singles. Like there are missed opportunities here.
I wonder if they'll do it. And no, they really can't because
no, there's no more. There's no more promos.
There's no more promos.
This is it. So
yeah.
They totally missed that. They totally botched it. I think I don't care if it's singles or tag team. Someone loses, you got to call attention to it. like even like when Drew McIntyre lost that randomly, and when he finally lost in singles competition, was like so random. It was sometime in December to Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
That was totally botched too. But whatever. Now I guess Drew's is another guy who can win and lose on the show, and you have to rip the Band-Aid off sometime. But you couldn't have just saved it for like TLC, which was coming right up.
Ronda Rousey is not the type of person though that you just rip the Band-Aid off at just a random. And okay, it's the go home show to the Rumble, but like you said, if they're not going to make any mention of it, then why even bother doing it?
Right. And when they kept Asuka undefeated all last year from when she debuted, she didn't lose a single tag team match either, because that counted towards the undefeated streak.
And she didn't lose in the mixed match challenge with the Miz either.
Right.
They won that.
Right, but then as soon as she lost one match, it's like, oh well, wow, God, it's like Asuka just caught a fluke and just won 400 matches in a row. It's like it was a total fluke. Yeah, I just thought that was a strange missed opportunity. The main event was, what I initially put that it was good. When I think about it now,
well, until then, you're like.
When I think about it now, I mean, there were some a couple cringy things in there, but nothing bad. I'll stand by my statement. It wasn't a bad main event. That's what I said. It wasn't bad. Not great, nothing great, but it's just. God.
But I still find Sasha just very reckless. It's very very hard.
Well, that's the thing that's really really scary about this, is because they actually. I will say this: they did a nice job of establishing them as rivals tonight. They had some good back and forth in the ring. I thought Ronda Rousey's promo before she came out for the match was tremendous.
Absolutely,
she stuttered on her words. She stumbled over her words, but she was like so passionate, so emotional.
Yes,
there was so much. It just felt real. That's why I like Ronda Rousey so much, is because even if she's not the best promo person in the entire world, it still feels real.
She's putting real life statements into her promos. Like when she was feuding with the Bellas at the time, she brought up Nikki Bella and her, in her relationship with John Cena.
It just feels it's on a different level.
It is.
That's how it is with Ronda
she's
Rousey.
Bringing up legitimate things that people say about Sasha Banks. Like, do you really saying do you really have this? Do you really think you can go around bragging to everybody that you have this amazing chance against me when you haven't really done much? That type of promo is something that sets it apart, because you're bringing real life into it. Right. People are actually saying those things. Why is she getting this opportunity? It's much better than what she was doing a couple weeks ago. And the boss, Sasha Banks, when everybody literally thought everyone but Sasha was the one that she was talking about initially. Yeah. So it's really, really nice that they have this going on right now. Yeah. She stumbled on her words, but I'm okay with that, because
Now this is the problem with the fact that they've built it up so well, is that now I just know deep down. It's like one of those things you just know.
Oh God, what are you going to say?
Sasha is now taking this as this is like a co-main event. It really truly is a co-main event. I don't think it's like the second main event. I think it's like the third one. I gotta say, it's got to be Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. I'm looking forward to seeing, aside from the two Rumble matches. I'm talking about the regular, the regular matches on the show. Universal title match, I'm definitely interested in seeing, and then it's like this one. This will be third for me. But Sasha Banks must be thinking now, God, we've done a really good job, and people seem to be interested in it. I got to do something crazy. And I wouldn't do crazy with Ronda Rousey. Now, Ronda Rousey has been great. Every single big match that they've put her in her WWE career. And this Royal Rumble marks 1 year since she debuted. And you got to think, she only started training that October. The prior October to that. So she doesn't have a lot of experience under her belt, but every time they need her to step up, she does.
She does.
Big match.
100%.
She's big match Ronda. She does a great job. But still, I just wouldn't feel comfortable trying anything truly crazy with somebody who just isn't that experienced in wrestling, And Sasha Banks is extraordinarily reckless in the ring. This has potential for death.
She makes me nervous. She really, really does. I mean, she's ended careers, Paige. I mean, come on. It's And anybody can go at me when I say that. They're like, no, it wasn't her. It was other things. But it really was. That was like the breaking point of what, Paige had to go through.
On a house show to kick somebody full force in the back at a house show.
She's just
silly.
she's not a smart wrestler. Not only is she reckless, she's not a smart wrestler.
Yeah, she doesn't work.
She's not thinking about things like Ronda Rousey still has things that she's moving along flawlessly. She's doing a fantastic job and progressing really fast and really well. But like you said, she's still learning and she's still fairly new to all this.
Like Randy says, she needs to stop those damn dives to the outside for sure.
Right, but Sasha she's not smart in the ring.
Yeah. Yep.
She's not thinking about her opponents and herself.
No, she's thinking because Sasha Banks, like I said last week, is that she plays wrestler. She isn't an actual sports entertainer wrestler. She plays what she has in her mind from when she was a kid, and this is all the stuff I want to do. So even if it doesn't fit in the flow of the match, this is just what This is just what I've seen people do in the past, and I want to do the same thing. So here I go. Oops, almost broke my neck. Oops, almost just snapped my back in two. Oops, I almost killed my opponent. Oops. It's like, she's just a fangirl who got a job, who's playing wrestler. That's how I feel. And
with connections.
Yeah, whatever, with connections. But
Sasha, true.
Well, there are people with other connections that don't make it either, but Andrew, like Andrew says, she goes too hard. Randy says her timing is atrocious. I can't agree more.
Yep.
And I just don't think that she really like the spots, the big spots that she plans. They don't fit into the context of the match. Like they don't build well. It's just like, okay, well, here's a dive. Oop, almost killed myself.
It's random.
But it's just like random, and it's a totally forgotten spot. Has nothing to do with the finish.
No.
So I don't know. I just have a feeling that there's a disaster waiting to happen.
And she has that big head too. Like she just.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about her personality.
No, but what I'm saying is that will definitely contribute to that.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Maybe. But like, I just don't. I don't know.
No, she's reckless.
She's a disaster waiting to happen. Okay, let's hit the small stuff on Raw now.
Okay. Well, if we go back to the beginning with Lashley, okay, I the whole time I was just saying ew, to be honest with you, during this whole thing. I don't like what they're doing. And I was really a big fan of bringing Lio Rush in, and because Lashley obviously needed somebody to be his manager. He could not go on his own, and he should have been coming in as a heel and everything else, and we talked about that. But the thing that I don't like this whole. He comes out, he's doing these poses and it does not, I don't know, it just doesn't do anything for me. I just think that it's like stupid, it's awkward, and it's gross. Impressive, yeah, with the muscle definition that he has. Absolutely. But then you have like Cruz and then he's doing that and the only thing I will say about this whole segment is that Cruz was getting a nice positive reaction from people.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of have to agree. It's kind of gross with all the posing, but at certain times I was like, this is impressive.
It is.
Apollo Crews has a great physique. He's a small guy with a great physique. His poses were impressive. I thought Lashley was like, wow, that's like next level. Especially when he gave the big front pose, the Hulk Hogan, like,
right. I'm a big fan of somebody.
The vascular nature.
I will definitely give credit to somebody who could, obviously that takes a lot of strength and it takes a lot of, devotion and time into working out your body and
he's in his 40s.
Right.
To maintain that look in your 40s, it's
I could applaud that, but I don't like. Can we say that for like an actual like ultimate strongman competition or like when you're doing like muscle? I just don't like it. I think it's. I just think it's gross. I don't find it. What is it doing for him?
Well, yeah, I think they think that like women look at big muscular guys and are like,
but they don't. They're not though.
Let me throw my panties in the ring. It's
think,
oh my god,
right? I think everybody's at. I think
not
most,
anymore. Maybe in the 80s and 90s. But
I think most women are thinking what I'm thinking. It's like we don't need to objectify these men.
The dad bod made a big comeback for a little while, so it's like tastes change. Bell bottoms go out and they come back in. So it's.
I mean, they have amazing bodies, amazing physiques, but it's just not.
Andrew goes, Vince still wishes he had the WBF. That's pretty much it. The World Bodybuilder Federation.
Yeah, true.
Here's a good question from Randy. How did TNA book Lashley so good and WWE keeps screwing him up? You see, like, I take the differing opinion from, I guess, Randy and Victoria here. I actually think that it's been better with Lashley as a heel. They've done a lot. It's been working. Like, tonight worked for me. Tonight it definitely worked for me.
Okay.
Especially when they introduced Leo Rush. Leo Rush was a game changer. Now, when they had him doing the stuff with the microphone at ringside, that was really annoying. Once that went away, once they kind of established Leo Rush as the annoying guy, and then they took away the microphone, it's been better. I don't like Lashley in matches every week on Raw. I don't. I think he's brutal in the ring for long, extended periods of time. But it's not a bad character to have. Now, the only thing is, it's just like, what is the direction of Bobby Lashley? He's this giant
That's what I'm
man.
trying to figure it out.
He's this giant genetic freak. The match with Brock Lesnar is long overdue. Long overdue.
Yeah.
But too bad Lesnar's a heel and he's a heel. You know, like, gosh. Like, I just want to know, like, what's the direction?
What's the end game?
Because he shouldn't be, like, you know, like, Lashley's the kind of guy, he has that kind of look that Vince likes. And it's like, how is he not further ahead? You know, now that he's a heel with Leo Rush, Lashley should be like, you know what I think it is? It must be the work rate. It must be the work. Because Lesnar is a next level athlete. The way he can go with guys of any size is tremendous. Like, Lesnar can have a great match with a guy like Samoa Joe. Mm-hmm. Lesnar can have a great match with a guy like Daniel Bryan. There's no disparity there.
That's
it's
a
like
smart
he can
wrestler.
work with anybody. Lashley can't. I think that's what holds him back. But I would still love to see what happens when Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley go at each other. And it just doesn't seem like it could happen. It doesn't even seem like Lashley's even in the same
stratosphere.
In the orbit.
Yeah, it's not in the same
anywhere.
stratosphere as. I agree. I just don't understand where their direction is. What's the goal?
Right.
What's end game? What are we doing for him? Because he has a lot of potential. And I think when you don't get off on the right foot either, that's where you lose it as well. If you're not getting
that's what the Lucha House Party suffers from.
Oh, well, they have many more issues than that.
They
but.
died with the Lucha House rules and then never recovered, and they won't unless they go away for a while.
Right.
You know, but let's not take away from the fact that actually Apollo Crews had a very good night.
Very good night.
Now,
the reaction from the crowd was amazing.
Better than I thought it would be when he was doing goofy stuff. Like,
oh my gosh.
It was actually like, this is not a bad reaction.
No, not
for
at all.
Stupid, crummy crap. But it was good. They got him smiling a little less. He's still a little goofy, but you know he does his thing. Now, he's been improving week in, week out. He's been involved in some bigger things, like when they fired Baron Corbin at TLC. Cruz was front and center as part of the people helping Strowman beat him. And he's had some pretty good stuff. He had an Intercontinental title match against Dean Ambrose at one point, and it hasn't been bad. Now tonight it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, Cruz has a great look. He tried to press slam Bobby Lashley, which was damn impressive. Tweaked his back, legitimately tweaked his back, and you could tell immediately he fell with Lashley as well. And the referee was like, "Can you continue?" Because he was like really holding his back. He looked really, really banged up, and he did. And then he did the press slam again, and he pulled it off this time. But his back, you could tell his back was still hurting. But then he still did the standing moonsault. He still tried to do all of his stuff, and then he wound up losing. You know, which is fine. But I could easily see, you know, like a guy like this gets just starting to get momentum. An unfortunate little situation like that where he tweaks his back trying to press slam Bobby Lashley, and Vince will be like, "Well, damn it. That's the end of that."
That's it.
He's got a great look. He's got a great physique, but he can't do the things that we need the strong men to do. So we'll move on to the next. I think give him another look. Give him another look. I think, you know, just try it one more time. So let him press slam Bobby Lashley next week. See what happens.
I was very impressed with Apollo Crews.
It was. I actually thought he had a really good showing, and he's greatly improved from where he's been.
And am I late to the party too? Like, was that out of nowhere that he just started getting that like positive reaction?
It's been building over the week, so it's like Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, you know, like those.
All right, maybe I just been late to it,
shows.
but
a little bit, yeah, maybe
a little bit, but
yeah,
that's to be said to there too. But okay, moving on.
What's next?
Lucha House Party, Jinder Mahal and the Singh Brothers. Ooh. Okay, I'm just gonna say this. No, It's a whole lot of no, and to quote you, a whole lot of suck. That's basically it. There's nothing that this talk about. You said that Lucha House Party, obviously didn't get off the right foot and everything else. They just have a whole lot of mess of issues. There's just a lot of issues going on with them.
Extraordinarily uninteresting. They're just a bunch of guys in masks. We don't know. You can't tell who they are. You can't tell them apart. There's nothing interesting about them. There's nothing to it.
They're spot wrestlers. They're spot wrestlers. They
That's
can.
it.
They
You're
give
right.
you. They give. You
Perfect
know?
analogy. Perfect
No,
analogy.
they are because all they do is like they give the really cool. Oh, that's cool, but then that's it.
They give you like the ooh and ah. They give you the ooh and ah trampoline act.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
And you know what?
There's nothing to it. There's no flow to their matches.
No, not at all.
We've been criticizing Sasha Banks. They make Sasha Banks look like a female Lou Thez, the way that she puts together her matches compared to them. But it's like okay, well we have 2.5 minutes to do a 6-man tag, so we have to do as much crap as possible. No. Let's cut out like 2 or 3 and make 1 or 2 spots significant, not 15.
No.
Like build to 2 spots.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And then the finish was botched too. It seemed like Samir Singh was supposed to make the save and he didn't, and then it was just like a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker end of the match after the guy stands on his shoulders and then does a splash, and then they follow up with another splash, and then they do a couple of like flips onto the guy. That doesn't pin him, but a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker is the one that does it. Got it. Yeah, that seemed like totally botched to me. Oh, it's brutal.
And talk about Jinder Mahal too, and just like how he just fell off the bandwagon. It's
he's been dead for
quite
some
but
time. As soon as he lost the title in
2017. What a shame, though.
Do you think it's a shame? I don't think Jinder
No,
Mahal
but
ever should have had the title.
For him, though, it's a shame.
For him, yeah, of course. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for lotto winners that make him $10 million and they blow it all. But you know what? I don't feel bad for.
That
wasn't money they technically deserved in the first place. They didn't earn it. They just bought a ticket and they got lucky.
Yeah.
Same thing with Jinder Mahal. It was like, well, we need an Indian superstar. Oh, there's Jinder Mahal. Let's put him over as the first Indian champion. And then they couldn't even sell out 2 shows in India with Triple H for taking on Jinder Mahal, so they had to take it down to 1. And then they're like, okay, well, this was a dumpster fire failure of an experiment. So I don't really, it's like, it was the self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, Jinder Mahal
you're right.
was never supposed to be that guy.
He's never supposed to be that guy.
He doesn't have the skill set to be that guy. And lo and behold, he wound up not being that guy.
Oh, wow. Would have thunk
wow. Well, who would have thunk that would have happened?
I think we've invested way too much time talking about this. But
yeah, this has been it's just an awful freaking match.
Sorry.
I've already vomited on air talking about it, so let's just move on.
You don't even be more sick than you already are.
It's making me feel better. It's just getting all fired up.
I'm going to... I don't know how I'm going to say this. I don't want to say this. I enjoyed Baron Corbin and Elias.
Did you?
Explain. Baron Corbin was funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. He was
funny.
I don't. Okay. Something funny.
I don't like their matches.
No. Oh my God.
All.
When Elias was singing,
he was funny.
So Elias sung a lyric about does Elias really need to take on Baron Corbin? Does anybody really need to see that match? And I'm like, no. It's like,
no, we don't.
It's like literally Elias just said, no one wants to see us wrestle. And then they wrestled. That's what happened. But there was a great segment. There was a great thing right before they went to commercial.
Right before.
Where Baron Corbin rushes the ring. And Elias swings the guitar at him. And then Baron Corbin just turns around.
Right before commercial break.
It wasn't on the microphone. He just looks at the crowd and he goes, he almost hit me with that guitar! And then it goes right to commercial.
3 times?
Oh, I was crying.
3 times we were around it. Yeah. That was the only thing that...
just shows you, the writers definitely couldn't write something like that. It's like...
They should just... You know what they should do, the two of them?
People can be funny.
You know what? The two of them should just continue to roast themselves. Because that's essentially what Elias is doing. Like... roasting Baron, but roasting himself, saying that nobody really wants to see us wrestle.
Right? Yeah, it was kind of weird. It was kind of like Seth. It was like kind of like Seth Rollins coming out and saying Raw was bad. Yes, it was bad.
Yeah,
nobody wants to see us wrestle because it's bad. Yes, you're right. It is bad. Don't give it to us anymore, please.
But yeah, that was funny. So like,
yeah. Other than that,
it really had no redeeming qualities. But
yeah,
that was that. Yeah.
Speaking of no redeeming qualities, God, third time is usually the charm. Not when it comes to a moment of bliss. This show, we talk about dumpster fire, and there's been a couple of comments in the chat room tonight about dumpster fires and stuff like that. This is the dumpster fire spot every week. Alexa Bliss doing this talk show is brutal. I am so glad that she announced that she's going to be in the Royal Rumble, because I hope that it just means that she's going to be wrestling and no more of this talk show, because it is brutal. It's just so bad. They did one good announcement with the women's tag team championships last week, but other than that, it's been bad. This was a very, very bad segment, horrible segment actually.
With the exception of a few women in the division. And that whole, like, a moment of bliss just reminded me, with all those women coming out, of just how, in general, I'm not excited for the women's division. Like, there's just, there's a few.
I'm not really fired up for the women's Royal Rumble this year, and I honestly, I don't know who's going to win. I guess it's got to be, like, either, it's got to be Charlotte, right? It's got to be Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, and then Becky Lynch somehow gets in there. Triple threat. I think Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte versus Becky Lynch. That name just, like, escaped my mind.
How?
In the main event of WrestleMania, the true main event, the last match on the show.
Yeah.
That's the match I want to see so badly. So badly. I think they could have a hell of a barn burner match.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I know.
I guess that's it for the Rumble, but it's like, in order to get to Charlotte winning the Rumble, we have to go through watching Dana Brooke do a clunky spot.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, just when they came out tonight, when everybody came out tonight, it just showed
like a bunch of losers.
Yeah, it just showed the lack of what we actually do have.
Oh God, Nia Jax is brutal.
And listen, obviously, not everybody can be a Charlotte Flair or Becky Lynch or Ronda Rousey. Like, not obviously, you have to have those in between, those jobbers and everything else, but. There's such a gap between
there's such a gap
on this
between,
roster.
Here's our main event women's talent, and then here's the rest of them.
Yeah,
and they're off. They're off the chart.
Not so much on SmackDown, but like,
pretty much.
But it's like, it just made me feel sad for the women's division. I'm like, there's really not anybody who I'm like overly excited about, except for the people who you normally are excited about. Yeah.
We got Ken in the chat room. He's asking who will be the final four in the men's Royal Rumble. That's
the men's Royal Rumble.
Question.
Good question.
If I had
Drew,
to guess,
Rollins.
Yep. Drew Rollins. I gotta think. Orton in it this year. Yeah, I would think maybe probably there's gotta be like two guys from SmackDown. I would think. So if I had to guess, I would have to say Orton and like. Maybe somebody random. Maybe somebody who makes a comeback.
Like
or
who?
Like
like who? Random? Who? As
I don't know. I don't know who's gonna make the comeback. But yeah.
So I don't think Orton will be.
I could see it as maybe Bray Wyatt. How about that? I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Let's just throw it out
there.
So
it's gonna be Rollins, McIntyre, Orton, and Bray Wyatt.
Wait, didn't we make a bet last week on something?
Yeah, we made a bet on something for Doug to do a shot if Sasha.
Oh, if they win the tag team division.
Yeah.
If they win the first
for the women's tag team championship.
Okay,
that was something else.
All right, so if Bray,
Ken wants to know if we think R-Truth, perhaps. I mean, they did do Santino Marella as the last person eliminated from the Royal Rumble one year. It's very possible. Randy thinks Seth, Drew, Almas, who's no longer Almas, he's this Andrade now. He lost his last name, one of those guys, and Ali. I love Mustafa Ali. Yes. I love Mustafa Ali.
That's really good.
That'd be really good.
And you know what? That's very possible.
Kit made a good suggestion here, too. The Women's Rumble should just be like 20. I'm sure they'll have a bunch of people from NXT. I'm sure there'll be an NXT call-up or two. They have Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans debuted on A Moment of Bliss and said she's going to win the Royal Rumble. So
good luck, honey.
I'm sure they will have, like, I'm sure they'll have Shayna Baszler just like make an appearance in the Rumble, not win it obviously, but she'll make an appearance, kind of like what Ember Moon did last year before she finally debuted the Raw after Mania.
Oh yeah, and that's what started off A Moment of Bliss. It was just bad. Like, Ember Moon should just not be talking. She needs to she lost that mystique. Now it's like you open your mouth and
she's just a person on the roster.
Whatever,
just a person on the roster. But yeah, this is actually a really good conversation. I love doing those. What's going to be the fantasy booking,
me too,
and stuff like that.
Me too.
One year, Vin, my brother-in-law, Victoria's brother, caught called the Final Four of the Rumble. And
I know. I was like, who do you know?
It was amazing. It was amazing.
And he wasn't dating that girl at that point either. So it was like,
yeah. So interesting thing right now. Okay. Is there anything else that we
there
missed
was
on
Heavy
Raw?
Machinery in the Ascension.
Oh, that's right. Heavy Machinery versus the Ascension. So this is technically Heavy Machinery's second appearance on the show, but this one was way better than their first, which was on A Moment of Bliss. They just basically ran through the Ascension. They hit the trash compactor and won. People didn't know what to make of them at first. Obviously, this is a comedy act, with guys that are huge, but they're athletic, especially Otis Dojovic doing the Caterpillar, which is his version of the Worm. I think that they could be good. They definitely will have a shelf life because the comedy groups, they don't last forever. And there's only so many times
except
you can see the
New
Worm.
Day, yeah.
There's only so many times you can see the Worm. Yeah, except you're New Day, but they can really go. There's only so many times you can see the Worm where it's like, okay, well, let's just use these guys. Unless they get serious, this would be a matchup against the AOP that I like to see, but unfortunately, I think it's Akam just had knee surgery, so the AOP is out for like the next 2 months, which
They're on
sucks.
a hiatus, yeah.
So that blows. But it's a good match for them to come back to. That's for sure.
And you know what? I agree. I think that there are certain. I don't know who we were talking about with the Heavy Machinery, but who was the one guy in the group?
Otis Dojovic?
Yeah, who we were like, wow, he moves pretty well. Like he's got a pretty good rhythm, in the ring.
Dojovic, and then there's Tucker Knight.
Yeah, no, they were overall they were pretty good. Like I like to see, like you said, they have to change their character a little bit eventually later on, but
right. Yeah.
I like to see the potential. If
there's something there.
Yeah, something.
Now the final thing. About.
Bobby Roode, Chad Gable defeating the Revival, but I just want to make this quick with the Revival. I thought they were.
Oh yes.
Are they? Aren't they?
Yeah, they asked to be released last week on after their match on Raw.
Apparently Dolph Ziggler too.
And then they have a segment with Vince McMahon the next week on Raw. So it's like
I can't believe anything you read.
Hey, we know what's going on. We know the rumors.
The interesting about this was Kurt Hawkins being the special referee.
My favorite thing about this entire thing. So they were backstage with Vince, and Kurt Hawkins was like, Vince, give me a shot. And he's like, no, you've lost too many things. Maybe I'll give you a shot.
I love his tally mark shirt.
Maybe I'll give you a shot putting up the ring, pal. And he's like, oh, you know what? You could be the referee for the Revival match. And then all of a sudden, Kurt Hawkins became my favorite thing to watch during this match. Like, the Revival match with Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, it was okay, but it was made so much better by Kurt Hawkins' presence. I just absolutely loved him as a referee. And in one match where he caught them cheating 3 different times, which the full-time referees never do, he has way more credibility than any other referee. God,
yeah, he's really good.
I think they should keep him as a referee, and I think that they should add Zack Ryder in there rather than like having them be a tag team. I'd rather see Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins as referees than as a tag team. That much I have to say, and that I can honestly say I'm not even being facetious.
And Kurt Hawkins should just have that going on with the tally marks. Like he's a referee, but then like every once in a while they'll throw him a bone and give him a match.
Right. The best line of the night was Kurt Hawkins going. He goes, well, I have seen a lot of 3 counts lately, which was really funny. That was really good. Yeah, that was awesome. Now they had Zack Ryder come back tonight, and to me, every time I see Zack Ryder on TV, my immediate thought is just like charity case. It's just like, well, we haven't done anything with him in a while. We feel bad, whatever. Let's just throw him out there. It's like he just complains all the time. It's like, he got over by complaining and saying that they don't give him a chance and stuff. Then they gave him a chance, and then it was just like, okay, it was a little niche thing, and then didn't go over. And he's like, oh my god, they had that picture of him at WrestleMania 2013 sitting in the locker room. This is my WrestleMania moment. It was him crying in his locker. It's like, dude, enough.
He still complains though.
Like they giving you opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and even on the first live SmackDown, even on the first SmackDown Live, where after they did the draft, they did a battle royal, and Hawkins slipped off the ropes doing an elbow drop and just totally botched something. And it's like every time they put him in a big spot, he doesn't really, capitalize on it.
He had a whole storyline with John Cena, so he can't really say
right. Yeah,
they didn't give him an opportunity.
But now he's just like total charity case mode, and it's like, God, like if we're resorting to putting Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder back together after 11 years since their breakup. It's like,
I just had an epiphany with Kurt Hawkins. I'm going to buy his shirt, and I'm going to do a lesson on counting.
Oh, I think there's cheaper ways to do the tally mark lesson.
And that'll be cute.
But anyway.
Maybe we'll get a retweet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Andrew made a good point, too. And we haven't seen Mojo Rawley in a while, too. God, that would be an awful...
goodness.
God, could you imagine that? What an awful three-man tag
that
would be.
Oh, gosh. Thank goodness.
An awful trio that would be.
I don't need to see...
Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley.
If I don't
let's
see...
let's just reunite all of Zack Ryder's horrible tag team partners.
If I don't see Mojo Rawley again... I wish him well on his future endeavors, and that's it.
Yeah, I wish no ill will towards Mojo Rawley.
No way.
I just never want to see him perform again.
I just don't want to see him perform.
He is just the drizzling shits. That's all there is to it. So that was Raw.
The only thing I forgot to do.
What did we forget?
The Twitter poll.
We're gonna do the Twitter poll right now. You read my mind, my dear, because I was just pulling it up. So what did everybody think of Raw? Well, number one, I want to know what the chat room thought of Raw. So while we show this, chat room, give us your thumbs up or thumbs down. We have a bunch of people in here checking us out. So give us a thumbs up or thumbs down of what you thought of Raw, and we'll show the poll in the meantime. So The poll says 57% of the people give a thumbs up, with 46 votes so far, 43% thumbs down. So... Actually, when I saw this poll earlier tonight, when I first put it up, it was resoundingly thumbs down. But now I think people are giving it a chance again. So
I don't know if I should give it a thumbs up because I didn't want to jump out the window watching the show.
I know my standards for rating Raw are so low anymore. It's like, I didn't want to kill myself during the first 2 hours of the show. So that's a win. I didn't, envy the dead at certain points of the show. So that's where I'm at now. That's where I'm at.
Can we please bring back the thumbs in the middle?
Oh, Quentin just gave it a thumbs in the middle. He literally gave it a thumbs in the middle right now in the chat.
I'm with you. I'm not voting.
Andrew gives it a thumbs up.
I didn't try one. Okay, I'll give it a thumbs up. I really want to say a thumbs in the middle, but I'll give it a thumbs up because I didn't want to jump out the window watching the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up.
All right, I'll do that.
I thought they did enough to make Royal Rumble compelling, which is what the whole entire point of the show was. Excuse me. So, yeah, and I didn't want to kill myself for 2 of the 3 hours of the show. So, win. All right, everybody, I gotta go because I'm ready to have a freaking hacking fit right now.
Thank you, everybody.
Randy gives it a thumbs up too.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Remember to check us out on, if you are not listening live, you can check us on Spotify, on the YouTube channel, and everything. We are looking forward to having our podcast next week. Like I said, Mike might not be recapping, but we will definitely have a show.
Yeah, no matter what, we're having a show next week.
And we appreciate everybody listening tonight. Thank you, everybody in the chat, as always. And we hope everybody has a good week and a good Martin Luther King Day. Remember to keep practicing your everything else, and we hope you have a good night.
Absolutely. And real quick, from Quentin, Victoria, you did well tonight. You're hired.
Oh, thanks. I honestly, I feel like I didn't, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Nice job tonight. Thank you for saving me. I'm finally sick, so Victoria did a great job. All right, everybody. That's it for Wrestleview, the post-Raw show. We wish you well, like Victoria said.
Everyone have a good night and a good week. Good Royal Rumble.
Good night, good week, and enjoy the Royal Rumble. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.